Thanks for coming to my beach. Today I will be telling you about the city of Delft. Here you see a classical view of Delft from the sky. See the nice church in the middle. My pitch will take about 10 minutes approximately. I will have time to answer your questions at the end if there are any questions, and I will hand out copies of my PowerPoint slides at the end as well. There's my pitch outline. First I will speak a little bit about myself and my connection with the city of Delft. Then I will mention some interesting facts about Delft, the rich history, Delft right now, interesting sites to be seen in Delft, tourist trips for example, Delft as a knowledge center, and the dinner and nightlife in Delft. About myself, my name is Haze, I'm 22 years old. I've lived in Delft for most of my life, and I've always had a really good time there, and I would like to give you people the opportunity to have a good time in Delft as well. Coming to the interesting fact, Delft was one of the major cities in the Netherlands during the 1200s until about 1700s. It got its city rights in 1246, and from there on the trade hugely increased. By 1389, Delft decided that they needed a good harbor to connect with the rest of the world, or at least the rest of the country, over the water channels. So a canal was made between the Schie River and the river Maas. And at the conjunction point between those two, the small city Delfshaven erupted, which means port of Delft, or harbor of Delft. At that point, it was one of the major trade points in the Netherlands, and Delft had a lot of ships there trading with other cities. However, in 1489, a war erupted, and Delfshaven was destroyed largely by opposing forces. They also destroyed or stole most of the ships from Delft. So this kind of shut down the Delft harbor activities. Delfshaven is currently a part of Rotterdam, and I think we all know Rotterdam. It is one of the largest harbors in the world, especially one of the largest main ports in Europe. A lot of goods are trafficked from there through the rest of Europe. But what if Delft had not lost its control over Delfshaven in 1489? Perhaps Delft would now have a harbor this big. We can only guess. As I mentioned, Delft was one of the biggest and most influential cities in the Netherlands until about the 17th century. Around the year 1400, Delft was the second biggest city in the Netherlands, with about 14,000 inhabitants. The only bigger city was Amsterdam with 28,000. Delft is often nicknamed the Prince's City, and this is because of William of Orange, who moved to Delft in 1572. He was the national leader of the resistance against the Spanish occupation of the country. However, when in 1581 the Dutch cities decided they no longer wanted to be a part of Spain, Delft became the unofficial capital of the Dutch, because the prince was living there. However, in 1584 he was shot by Balthazar Gerards, and you can still to this day see the two bullet holes in the wall in a museum where he was shot. Normally the Dutch family of Orange would be put into a burial grave in Breda. They had a family grave there, but as that city was still occupied by the Spanish when he died, he was buried in the new church in Delft in the burial chamber. And since then this has become a tradition, and every royal family member that passes away is buried there. Next to the royal connection, Delft also produced some other influential people in history. For example, the great painter Johannes Vermeer, who painted The Milk Girl. Just last week, President Obama of the United States was visiting the Rijksmuseum in Amsterdam, and he said that it was his favorite painting of all time. Delft also had Anthony von Leeuwenhoek, who was a scientist and greatly improved the microscope and was really important in that science. He is also referred to as the father of the microbiology. Delft right now has about 100,000 inhabitants, and about 11,000 of those are students. Delft is often referred to as a student city. I think it has the largest percentage of students compared to all other cities with universities. The location of Delft is between The Hague and Rotterdam. There are many things to see in Delft because of its rich history. You can visit the old church that was built in 1246, the new church that was built in 1396, or the city hall, which is a massive building where you can also have weddings and stuff like that. The only gate that remains from the city walls of Delft, that were established after getting the city rights, is the eastern gate, which has both a road lookout and a water lookout. There's still a little piece of city wall next to it, but the rest of the wall and the other gates have been removed. Another interesting thing to see is the Army Museum in Delft. There are still tanks and trucks from the Second World War to be seen there, and also tons of guns and ammunition and everything related to the Dutch Army and the German Army, things that were repossessed when the Germans left the country. Another interesting thing is the Speedo tours in Delft, which will take you on a Speedo boat trip through the canals, the original canals that have been in Delft for hundreds of years, taking you past all the monumental buildings, etc. Delft is also known as the technological heart of the region. Delft has 3 universities at the moment: the TU Delft, Delft University of Technology, which is the largest technical university in the Netherlands. It also has 2 universities of applied sciences, namely the Hague University and in Holland University. Therefore, there is also this large number of students in Delft. Furthermore, there are a number of knowledge-based institutions that work from Delft. For example, P&O, Deltalis, and UNESCO IHE. The latter 2 are related to water, whereas P&O is in all sorts of technological progress. We also have 2 huge industrial companies in DSM and Exact. They're all clamped together in an area called Technopolis, which means City of Technology. And it's really the attractive, innovative area of the city. At night, you can go out for dinner at the marketplace. You can eat outside or inside. There's sometimes street theater to be seen while you're having your dinner. You can watch the theater. On top of that, at night, there are often festivals, such as the Jazz Festival, which is an annual festival, which, as you can see, attracts huge crowds. And also, there are plenty of bars, cafes, and clubs where you can go to have a good time. In conclusion, you can come to Delft for education, employment, nightlife, or just as a tourist to view the old buildings, the old canals, the historic center of the city. I hope to see you in Delft soon. Thanks for your attention, and if you have any questions, I'll gladly answer them.